Hey, what's up, mortals? Welcome back to actually part 2 of What If Issei was from a Forgotten Clan. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this. Let's actually begin this What If. 3 months would have actually passed as Issei actually trained under Shin and Kiyomi. The two of them were strict teachers to actually Issei, and actually they trained him how to control his spiritual arts, and also his skill made, of course, which Issei was able to actually unlock. But they decided to push it forward for him to actually unlock something even better. He combined his spiritual energy and his skill mate at the same time, which made a whole brand new form for Issei, which Issei called his spiritual skill mate. This was actually his full potential of his skill mate form, which is actually pretty much, instead of Issei wearing an armor, he was covered in a red energy, spiritual energy, so he can move around easily. But it wasn't just that. Issei was actually taught how to pretty much use swords, weapons, and even martial arts. Even him using spiritual energy, he was able to make construct out of it, of course, which truly surprised him. But right now, we'll go on actually to Issei as he was on the train going actually back to Kuyu town. He's been actually training for 3 months and he hasn't even contacted Reyes yet. He's pretty much thinking that Reyes might actually get worried, of course. The moment they actually got off the train, this is where Issei felt something different, like the air was pretty much wrong. He could sense that the evil presence just at the school. This is where Shin and Kiyomi also knew about this. So Issei would actually teleport towards the school. This is where he would see Sona's Parage holding up a barrier, as this is where actually he would actually wonder what was going on. But this is where Kiyomi actually noticed actually a familiar key, and this should be angry. This is actually where actually Issei asks what happened, what's going on. This is where actually she would say, Kokubil, he's here. Shin will have an angry expression on his face, and Issei will actually know who Kokubil really is, because actually Shin and Kiyomi told Issei about actually Kokubil, that he was the one who actually did plan the attack on actually the war, that land. This is where actually Issei would actually cover himself in a red energy before actually flying in. This is where Issei will fly inside the barrier without Sona's permission. Inside the barrier, Kokubil will be laughing hysterically as he will be looking at actually the group already on the ground defeated. Reyes and actually Akano didn't have the strength to even fly or even use magic. Kiba will be on his one knee and pretty much holding his sword trying to stand up, but he couldn't. So Novia and Irina was on the ground as they didn't have the energy to even actually fight after Kokubil told them actually that God was dead. As everybody actually thought that everything actually seems lost, well, Kokubil will launch an attack at the group. But this is where actually Issei will come in, destroying the attack while actually slicing it in half. Kokubil will be actually truly surprised that somebody has stopped his attack, and there actually he will look to actually his left to see it was Issei. Issei will be standing there in a whole different look that nobody can even recognize him, of course. This is where actually Issei will say like, so you're Kokubil, huh? I actually have a bone to pick with you. This is where actually Issei's eyes will glow that of green, and Kokubil will say, who are you? Issei will take his fighting stance and he will actually appear right in front of Kokubil before saying, your demise. Issei will completely actually step and actually stab Kokubil right in the chest. This will actually send Kokubil to be flying upwards, a little bit wounded and surprised that he didn't actually see Issei move, not even for a second. God damn it! Ugh, who is this kid? I can't believe I let my guard down. But before he can say anything, he was actually immediately actually attacked or kicked towards his face, and then he will be flying backwards towards the ground. This is where he was trying to get up, but immediately Issei will be landing right on top of him before trying actually to point his blade at him. But he will move at the last second. This is where he will actually shoot light spears, and Issei will calmly just walk towards him while completely cutting them like they were nothing. This truly surprised Kokubil and said like, you! Who are you? Why are you actually getting involved? This has nothing to do with you. I'm trying to start a war here. But Issei had a cold look on his face, and he would actually immediately rush towards Kokubil, but this time Kokubil was prepared, and he ducked backwards, evaded one of Issei's slice that was actually preparing to actually cut Kokubil's head clean right off, but instead it cut at a strand of his hair. Kokubil continued to dodge Issei's attack as Issei continued to attack Kokubil left and right. While with the group, they would be all staying actually in shock, asking who was this person. They didn't recognize Issei because Issei looked completely different. To be honest, Reyes actually thought that this person kind of seemed familiar, like she knows him. But she would actually get a weird actually look. She sensed his energy. It was that of a devil, like her evil piece. She would calmly actually say, Issei, as we would resume to the fight. Issei took 3 steps backwards as he avoided actually one of the light spears that Kokobel launched at him. This is where Issei would actually start to use lightning, and there the sky started to actually change to that of a storm. This is where Kokobel started to laugh. Ha! You really think actually some kind of lightning will have an effect on me? Trust me, the priestess of thunder tried that, but before he can even say anything, lightning will soon actually come from the ground and striking him from above. This is where actually he will be paralyzed from up and below. This is where he will fall towards the ground in pain. How did you do that? Kokobel would say. Issei will be standing right in front of him. Before actually there, he will coat his actually katana in red flames. This is where he will completely go and actually slice Kokobel's head clean right off. Before Issei would say that this was for his family. Before anything could even happen, the barrel would break and there to reveal the White Dragon Emperor, standing there. This is where the White Dragon would say that he came for Kokobel, but he would see that actually Kokobel was already defeated by actually this person. But he sensed actually that this person was the Red Dragon Emperor, since then he has the drag within him. This is where he would say that he came for Kokobel, but it seems like actually he was defeated, so there's no point for him to actually stay here any much longer. This is where he will actually take Free, who was already actually knocked out by actually Zenobia and Irina and Kiba, as the three of them did team up to face and even to destroy actually the sword that actually they will actually merge into actually one. This is actually where he will actually say to the Red Dragon that he will actually talk to you soon, that this is not the time for them to actually meet. This is where actually he would teleport away, and they're actually leaving Issei there with just actually pretty much a sigh of relief. He would de-transform from his actually spiritual actually state, and there he will actually look towards actually his actually comrades. He will actually let actually Kiba up a hand, and also actually the Exorcist there, while also actually Arcia, Reyes, and Arkano. They actually asked who was he, but Issei was surprised that they didn't even notice him. Did he really change that much? Issei said that it's me. Guys, it's Issei. Everybody actually got a surprised look. Issei? Really? It's you? How is this even possible? Where were you? How did you come here? Does Sona know? But before anything could even happen, Issei would say that he's a little bit tired, that he would talk to them later. This is actually where he would teleport back to his house. And there actually Shin and Kiyomi would actually congratulate Issei for actually his actually victory. They were actually now able to rest peacefully, as one of actually pretty much actually the person who attacked the homeland was now actually gone and dead. As pretty much we fast forward all the way to the next day. Issei will be walking actually to class as everybody will be looking at him, thinking that is he the new student? Issei can hear whispering and saying actually he was actually kinda hot. As Issei didn't know what they were talking about, but immediately Kiyomi in her spiritual form, which nobody can see, not even devils, would appear next to Issei and saying that he was actually pretty much actually the now actually new prince of actually his high school. But this is where Issei would brush it off. During actually just 3 months, Issei actually got over his pervertedness. Of course, it's still in there, but still, he doesn't show it, of course. This is where actually Issei would actually be actually in class, where his 2 friends would actually come up to him and ask, "Hey, this feet is not even yours. It belongs to our friend, Issei." But Issei said like, "Guys, it's legit me." This would actually put a surprised look in everybody in class. "Wait, you mean you're Hiro? No way! Is that really you? You look different. You're having all the chicks now," Mother Hatsu would say. But Issei would say that it was just actually a new look, that he'd been gone for about 3 months and he was trying to actually work on himself. This is actually where they will actually offer if Issei wants to actually peep on actually the Kendall girls, but Issei would kindly brush it off, saying that he's not interested. This would surprise everybody in the room because Issei was always down for that. This is where the teacher would actually calm everybody down and actually begin class. When class was over, Issei actually got a call saying that he has to go to actually the Occult Research Club. Issei will actually arrive there, and there he will see Reyes and everybody there. This is where actually they didn't know what to say, but Issei was glad to see them and asking how they were doing. Reyes actually went to hug Issei, asking where was he during this 3 months that she couldn't contact him, not even actually know where he was. She actually thought he actually died. Even Akano was even quite worried, including Konako. This is actually where actually a door will be open and there actually Zenova will walk into actually the room. And Issei asks who was she? He never actually seen her before. But this is where Reyes will introduce actually Zenova to everybody that this is actually now her actually new knight. This is where Zenova will introduce herself and actually she will look towards Issei and ask who was he. This is where Reyes will introduce Issei as actually Issei was actually her pawn. But actually, Zenova noticed him that this was the guy who took actually care of Kokubille. Out of nowhere, pretty much actually a magic circle would appear, and there actually came actually out Grafia. Grafia would then explain actually to the group that actually pretty much actually since actually the incident with Kokubille was actually already actually taken care of, there will be actually pretty much actually of a peace treaty actually in just actually a few days. She wanted to inform Reyes about this, and also actually pretty much actually parent teacher day will soon be actually coming, so pretty much her brother and actually her parents will be there. Reyes actually got a shocked expression on her face. She completely forgot about that. She would then look around the room and noticing 2 new people. She would ask if Reyes actually got new actually pieces actually in her barrage, but she would actually say like no, that this is Issei, that he just changed his look, surprising Grafia a bit that she didn't even notice him, but actually something inside of him that she did notice that she actually thought it was long forgotten. She would sense Issei's energy was not that of a devil, but that of actually something unknown. This truly terrified her. But she will actually greet actually Zenova and welcome her to actually the Grimry household. This is where she will leave, and there everybody will actually start to question Issei, where was he? And Issei actually couldn't tell them that actually he went actually training with actually his actually like Forgotten Clan actually members, of course. But instead he was actually too busy actually with his grandparents that he has to tell a lie about. This is where they would believe him, but actually still they were quite surprised that Issei did take out Kokubille and asked what was actually all that he just used, and what was he doing during that 3 months. Issei did say that he was actually training a little bit by himself, so yeah, he did actually got a little bit stronger. Not saying the fact that pretty much actually he was trained by 2 actually powerful people from his actually home world. This is actually where they were quite surprised, but still they congratulate him over actually the win. But of course, Kiba is a little bit bitty actually because actually the Holy Sword is actually just a complete actually open fail to him, seeing that Issei did not actually truly actually try to actually help Kiba get over his side. But yet he's still a little bit bitter, but he got over it, of course. This is where actually a few days will pass and a parent-teacher meeting will actually play into account. Nothing really much will actually happen here. But pretty much actually Issei did get to meet actually Reyes actually father and even actually Sir Zex and Grafia. But I would not believe actually they will actually stay at Issei's house. Well, mainly actually pretty much actually Issei will actually come over to Reyes actually place to stay over there since she got herself a house. Seeing actually she needed to actually stop living in the club room, of course. So pretty much Issei did stay over there and he did get to know Reyes' father and he was pretty much of a nice guy. After that, Issei went back to his house. This is where he will actually be talking to actually Kiyomi and Shin. I don't like the devils, of course. Those guys are pretty much actually untrustworthy, Shin would say. Kiyomi would step in and even agreeing with actually Shin, saying that pretty much she can't actually trust them. Devils are actually known to be greedy and yet truly evil, that they were the one who even destroyed their hometown. So they even asked Issei why does he even stay with them. Issei did say that pretty much most devils can be actually pretty much terrible and horrible at some time, but pretty much Reyes did save his life against actually Reina, so he does actually owe her actually a big favor. They will quite understand that, of course, but still, of course, they didn't actually like the devils. This is actually where the next day, the peace treaty would actually happen. Issei will actually be arriving late, and everybody will be there, of course, in the room, as Issei will be the only one there, not actually here on time. This is where Sir Zex will ask Reyes about actually where's Issei. Reyes was actually quite worried. Actually, ever since Issei got back, he's been acting strange. Not perverting on her, or even actually doing perverting things, yet he's been spending more time by himself, and even actually more time actually on his studies, of course, in school. He hasn't even stopped by to the club room, not really that much, only about twice actually since he came back. This is where a magic circle would appear, that of the Red Dragon Emperor circle, and Issei would apologize for him being late. This is where Azazel would actually ask if this was the Red Dragon Emperor. This is where actually Issei would bow down, saying that yes, he was. This is where he would look towards Azazel, and there actually he would pretty much have a calm expression on his face. Azazel was not the one who was actually in charge of destroying actually his own world, so he would actually let him slide. This is where actually he would sit near the window, and there he'd be eyeing actually his actually rival. And there actually, it was actually of a girl who had pretty much beautiful white hair, and that she's wearing actually some kind of a boyish outfit. This is where she would look towards Issei, and there actually she would grin. Issei would just turn away and not actually wanted to look at her. This is where actually the meeting would actually take pretty much play similar in the anime, nothing really changing much here, but this is where actually time would actually soon stop because actually Gasper would actually activate his sacred gear. There, everybody in the room would be frozen besides the people who have sacred gears and also holy swords, of course, and the faction leaders. This is actually where actually pretty much Magic Circle can be seen outside as they started to attack actually the devils that was frozen in time. As this is where a lady will come out from the circle and say that this is a good day for us to bring havoc towards the world. Soon the underworld will be under our control. The voice of Catherine will be heard, and pretty much she will have an evil grin on her face.